Okay, so I am going to actually read the newsletter and film it as well, release it on YouTube for those visual learners, and release it on a podcast for those who want to listen to it. Let's dive in. So this week is Mettle Memo 19. What's up, team, and welcome to the Mettle Memo number 19. Today's topics include 1. The art of balance, navigating life's constant shifts. 2. Progress, not perfection. 3. Meals and macros. And 4. Training and the workout of the day. I did launch 2 new programs to really kick off the year. There's a 12-week hybrid athlete training program and a 6-week circuit training program, and I've included how-to videos in that. So any activity that you don't really know how to do, you just click on the link, and it'll bring you to a YouTube short of me actually doing the exercise and showing you how to do it. For those listeners and subscribers, use the discount code #MEMO, MEMO, and you get 20% off any order. So let's get into it. There's 4 sections to every memo. There's the lessons learned, the tips of the week, there's the nutrition and diet, and then lastly is training. So to start off, let's talk about lessons learned. This week's lesson learned, balance. Balance is a delicate act, not a perfect state. It's not about splitting your time, energy, or focus evenly across everything. It's about knowing what needs your attention most at any given moment. Leading into the end of the year, I actually felt completely unhinged. I did not have the quote balance. My structure was merely broken, and I ultimately felt uncalibrated. This was part of the heavy load at work, but also travel, celebrations, and December, for me, typically means a lot of money going out of my bank account. I made it a priority to, quote, recalibrate the week after Christmas and before New Year's. I wrote down personal goals, a detailed schedule for the month of January, and caught up on a lot of needed sleep. My, quote, to-do list is growing every day, but simply writing the list actually helps calm my mind. Going into Q4 of 2024, I learned that I did not have a flexible schedule. I allowed the rigidity of my training and work to reject my ability for change. Life is dynamic, and balance is about learning to flow with its rhythm rather than fighting against it. Sometimes balance means prioritizing work because a project demands your focus, even if it means letting other areas take a back seat, however, temporarily, which is what I did. I work for a commercial real estate investment and development company. I was in the midst of completing due diligence for a new property I was looking to buy. On top of this, I had marathon training and then life. However, when all this was over, marathon complete, deal approved, etc., I felt this huge burden of all the things I put off. From simple things like taking my car to the shop to more complex things like expressing care and focus to my wife and family. I learned that other times it's about stepping away from professional obligations to nurture personal relationships or carve out time for yourself. So my wife and I booked a last-minute trip to Mexico. I was viewing this as a celebration for our 1 year of marriage, but also a much-needed disconnect. Ironically, the Wi-Fi was down in the jungle, and we spent the time being present instead of distracted by our phones. Within 1 day, I felt this weight off my shoulder. In reflection, I was able to recognize these shifting priorities are a key part to staying grounded. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that balance doesn't always look graceful. It often involves making tough decisions, like saying no to do things that don't serve your goals or values. I was asked the day after a huge presentation for work to go to a dinner party to celebrate one of my best friend's birthdays. I assumed the night would be long, and having not slept more than 5 hours for 5 days in a row, I was really struggling with my, quote, priorities. As a result, I went to dinner, but I left shortly after. It was hard for me to leave one of my good buddies hanging, but I knew I couldn't be there in the way that he deserved. After a few nights of sleep, I scheduled a brunch with him and got to spend quality time where I was energetic, alive, and present. This is setting boundaries. These moments can feel uncomfortable, but they're necessary to maintain a sense of alignment with what truly matters. Balance also requires us to accept imperfection. There will always be times where we drop the ball, overcommit, or neglect something important, and that's okay. I will say it again, that is okay. Take it easy on yourself. The goal isn't to get it right all the time, but to notice when things are off and take steps to recalibrate. These moments of realignment are actually opportunities for growth and self-awareness. In relationships, balance often means understanding when to give and when to receive. It's about finding harmony between supporting others and allowing yourself to be supported. And my wife and I do this dance all too often. There is this innate feeling of being a, quote, man of the house that I should and need to do everything I can to take care of her. In reality, I also need to take care of myself. My wife has done a great job at cooking dinner and leaving it wrapped on the table for me when I come back late from work. But I also show up to the house with flowers when I do so. Healthy connections thrive when both sides feel valued and respected, but achieving that takes intention and effort. It is these small things that drastically change the way I behave. Balance is also about pacing yourself. Life isn't a race. It's easy to burn out when you try to do too much too quickly. Giving yourself permission to slow down, reflect, and make intentional choices is a powerful way to regain control when things feel overwhelming. This is why I journal every day, to reflect. This is extremely typical for people in the month of January. The gyms get packed, the New Year's resolutions grow, and people go to the extreme on January 2nd, only to fall off the wagon 14, 30, or even 60 days later. So pace yourself. That is where setting, quote, realistic fitness goals come into play. I wrote a whole post on a step-by-step guide on setting realistic fitness goals. I put the link in the memo. This week, I encourage you to think about what balance means to you. Where do you feel steady and where do you feel out of sync? Balance isn't about getting it perfect. It's about staying aware and making adjustments as life comes. Start small by identifying one area of your life where you could use a little bit more attention or a little less pressure. We're going to move on to tip of the week. Tip of the week. Focus on progress, not perfection. A life-changing fitness tip. When I first started my fitness journey, I thought success meant sticking to a rigid plan and doing everything perfectly. If I missed a workout or ate something, quote, off plan, I'd feel like I failed. Over time, I realized that that mindset was actually holding me back more than any missed workout sessions ever could. The truth is, fitness isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. This small shift in perspective changed everything for me. Progress is built in the little things we do every day, not in the grand gestures or flawless execution. Last weekend, I had a dinner to go to. I actually had put off working out all day, slightly procrastination, slightly just fatigued. When I realized I needed to leave for dinner in 1 hour, I looked at the workout I had planned, and I always follow a plan. This was a 45 to 60-minute lifting session. I knew I couldn't make that happen in time, so I decided to do a 20-minute circuit instead. Kettlebell swings, push-ups, pull-ups, and lunges. It wasn't an intense hour-long session, but it kept me in the habit. That shorter effort reminded me that showing up is what truly matters, even if it's not ideal. One thing that helped me embrace this mindset was realistically tracking my progress. Instead of focusing on how far I had to go, I started noting the small wins, completing that extra rep, walking an extra 2 minutes, or simply feeling stronger during a workout. These victories, no matter how small, became my motivation to keep going. Fitness is about growth, not immediate results. Another lesson was learning to adapt when life got in the way. Work deadlines, family commitments, or low-energy days used to throw me completely off track. Another lesson was learning to adapt when life got in the way. Work deadlines, family commitments, or low-energy days used to throw me completely off track. Now I approach these situations differently. Physically, as mentioned above, I can get thrown off track, but mentally, I am able to adjust without completely falling apart. If I can't do my full workout, I modify it, and that's okay. If I miss a day, I remind myself that one skipped workout doesn't erase the progress I've made. Consistency over time beats perfection every time. I've also learned to appreciate rest and recovery as part of the process. In the past, I would push myself through exhaustion, thinking that more is always better. But rest days, stretching, and mindful movement like yoga or mobility has taught me that progress includes knowing when to slow down, otherwise known as maturity. Taking care of my body in these moments has allowed me to show up stronger and even more motivated the very next day. I typically like recovering in a lazy fashion, to be honest. I'm a huge fan of the Normatec compression boots or the like, cold plunge and saunas, massages, and electrostim. If you're telling me you can sit on the couch and watch TV while recovering, sign me up. Since I currently have IT band syndrome, physical therapy exercises are key. Low intensity, but very challenging. So I turn on a YouTube channel and complete them. 20 minutes, done. The idea of progress over perfection extends beyond the physical results too. I found that sticking to this principle has improved my mindset and self-esteem. I no longer beat myself up for falling short of impossible standards that only I have set myself. Instead, I celebrate the effort I've put in and the growth I've achieved, no matter how small. This shift has made fitness something I look forward to rather than something I stress over, and you have all now seen the results. The celebration could be a nice dessert, a nap midday, not often unfortunately, or buying new shoes. Shout out to the Asics Nova Blast 5. For me, the mindset shift has also made fitness sustainable. I've seen friends burn out when they try to go all in, only to quit when things got tough. Going back to the people's New Year's resolution and the quote, diet starts tomorrow mentality. By focusing on progress, I build habits that feel natural and manageable, even when life gets busy. Fitness is no longer an all or nothing pursuit. It's part of who I am. Except for racing. I really go all in on racing. A practical tip that has helped me stay consistent is planning for flexibility. Instead of expecting myself to follow a rigid schedule, I leave room for life to happen. So therefore, I make it a priority to wake up early, 4 a.m. or 4:30 a.m., so I can work out in the morning. I don't stress if I sleep in later or miss a day or two. This flexibility allows me to keep going without guilt or frustration. Plus, sleep is a huge hack for me. It truly makes my mood so much better. If you're on your own fitness journey, my advice is simple. Just start and keep showing up. Don't wait for the perfect time or the perfect plan. Start with what you can do today. Whether it's a single push-up, a walk around the block, or 5 minutes of stretching, progress isn't about where you start. It's about consistently moving forward, one step at a time. Over the next section, I talk about what I'm eating. So I showed some photos. So the first thing is breakfast. 2 eggs, 2 egg whites, turkey sausage links, avocado, and sourdough bread. Total calories is about 475. Protein is 33, fats 22, and net carbs is 29. I also put a picture of my wife's plate, which I made her a couple of waffles, which I did not eat, but I tried. Next picture is sirloin steak, cauliflower, mushroom, sourdough bread with butter. Obviously, you know I make my own sourdough bread, and I eat it all the fucking time. The approximate macros, calories are 410, protein 46, fat 11, and net carbs 25. And lastly is a picture for lunch. I had chicken with bell peppers, zucchini, avocado, and dates. Calories 350, protein 30, fat 10, net carbs 31. I've offered discount codes to Transparent Labs and Creatures of Habit, 2 supplement companies that I literally use every single day. I eat Creatures of Habit almost every morning for breakfast, and Transparent Labs is where I get every single one of my supplements, that being protein, creatine, hydration, etc. Use the code WINERIC for Transparent Labs and the code COLE for Creatures of Habit. Now I wanted to focus on how I'm training. As mentioned before, I have IT band syndrome, so running, I'm currently off running due to IT band syndrome. I do physical therapy twice a week and a lot of hip, glute, and hamstring strengthening as my quads are stronger than those posterior chain muscles. And lifting is really time to rebuild. After so much running, I am now craving to gain more muscle mass. So I'm heavily focused on circuit training with a few days a week of strength-only focus. But my cardio is being built through ski ergs, kettlebells, surfing, the echo bike, and the row erg. I'm finding this to be exciting as I'm traditionally used to just running a lot. So then I give an example workout that I hit on actually Saturday. I went to the gym undefeated in East LA, and I worked out with my buddy Nev and my other buddy Austin. And so this week's workout was 65 minutes. I took a scoop of bulk from Transparent Labs. I was fasted for the workout. The warm-up, thanks to my PT, I've been doing incline treadmill for 15 minutes at a 15% incline at a 4% speed. I am actually dying, and my heart rate is flying, just power walking up a hill. Then foam rolled and stretched. Then there's this workout I've been wanting to do for a while. It's called the Mikos Triangle. We did it for 20 minutes. You're supposed to do it for 40, but it is 4 minutes, 5 rounds. The first minute is 12 calories on the ski erg. Second is 12 calories on the echo bike. Third minute is 12 calories on the rower. And then you rest for the 4th minute. And you repeat all of that 5 times. You can scale that up and down. So you could do 10 cals, you could do 15, you could do 20. I actually found 12 to be, I was kind of struggling. So I'm going to try to work on nailing 12 and then build up to 13, 14, 15, etc. And then we hit some strength workouts. So we did legs first. We did 10 reps, 5 sets of heavy squats. And then we did a sled push. But at the gym, there's too many people. So we ended up using the assault runner. And we just put our chest up against the front. And we did dead pushes. So the treadmill wasn't on. And we were just pushing with our feet. So we did 30 seconds of that. Then we moved to chest. We did incline bench press, 5 sets for 10 reps, and decline push-ups, 5 sets for 10 reps. Lastly, we did an ab circuit. It was 10 GHD sit-ups. If you don't have a GHD machine, just do butterfly sit-ups. You don't even need a butterfly mat or an ab mat. You could just do it on the ground. 10 leg lifts and 10 knee tuck on a medicine ball. This is where your feet are on the medicine ball. You're in a plank position. You pull your knees in. We did 4 rounds of that. And that is the end of Mettle Memo 19. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want, check it out online. You can read all the archives. And I'll see you in a couple weeks. Fortify your mind. Welcome to Mettle Club.